All right, hello there, welcome back to another wee bit different video. Today's video, we're going to be covering everything that you missed or might have missed during NFL Week 9. If there's a game you just didn't want to watch or if there's news you haven't heard, I will do my best to relay all the information that is important. Heading into the first one, we have Texans and Jets. Jets pull this one out on a Thursday night, and I said it last week, and I know there were some people who were like, I don't know about that one. But at the end of my last week's video, I said, well, I'm interested to see what happens with the Jets because this game is a very winnable game against the Texans. Reason why is number one, Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins being out is a huge deal to this Texans offense. And number two, Jets, with all these new additions, obviously the biggest one being Devontae Adams. And when I say new additions, I still mean Aaron Rodgers still meshing with these players. They needed time to at least get it together to compete. Just a really bad game overall for CJ Stroud. Not gonna lie, it was really ugly. It was kind of just a sign of how really he's been for the year, which is kind of disappointing coming off of that rookie season where he was spectacular. This season, not so much. Saints, Panthers. Panthers pull away in this one, 23-22. Bryce Young, responsible for getting Dennis Allen fired to the Saints. Now, when I say responsible, I mean that losing to the Panthers is a boiling point for a lot of people. And for the Saints team, even Cameron Jordan had to apologize. Panthers win 23-22. Commanders and Giants. I'm actually a little bit surprised this game was this close. Commanders are just a way better team. Giants not so much. But hey, what do you have it? Giants competed, gave the Commanders a run for their money a bit towards the end there because at one point it was 21-7. But the Giants fight through, still end up with the loss. Moving on to Dolphins and Bills. This one was a good one. We had a competitive football game. We had both sides of offense really just being able to drive down the field. We had some spectacular defensive plays like the Jalen Ramsey interception that they had in the red zone. Great play by Jalen Ramsey there. But in the end, Bills kicker, 61-yarder Tyler Bass came through and he clutched it out for the Bills. Dolphins take a crucial loss, dropping to 2-6. They're going to need a surge to make any push for the playoffs here. They need some crazy heater that they need to go on. Next game, Chargers and Browns. Jameis Winston was horrid. This Chargers defense held him in check the entire time. Browns not really being able to do anything offensively, which is something they're familiar with. But they were hoping that would go away a little bit with Jameis Winston. Chargers, clean-cut win. Had some big touchdowns due to busted coverage. It was bad game all around for the Browns. Patriots and Titans. Drake May showing flashes, having a crazy play to Ramondre Stevenson to force the game into OT. But in the end, the Patriots just are not a good team. Titans aren't a good team either. They both have 2 wins on the season now. Falcons and Cowboys. The big takeaway from this one is the Cowboys are just terrible. Dak Prescott's going to be out for multiple weeks. CeeDee Lamb has a AC joint sprain. He is week to week. They're optimistic he can play against the Eagles, but with Cooper Rush under center, not a lot of hope for the rest of this Dallas Cowboys season. Looks like they're going to have a good pick in the draft this upcoming year. Falcons win this one 27-21. Raiders and Bengals. Raiders having a fire sale, quite literally, in terms of firing their coaching staff. Offensive coordinator goes bye-bye. Special teams coach, I believe. Don't quote me on it, but I believe it was a special teams coach. Bye-bye. No. Correction. It was the offensive line coach and the quarterback coach. I'm positive it was those two on top of the offensive coordinator. Raiders, 24-41. They lose to the Bengals. Bengals, Chase Brown having a hell of a game, over 100 yards. Good game for him. I had him in fantasy. I was pretty happy. Ravens and Broncos. Weeks prior to this, I always say I don't want to talk about the Broncos. They're not a good team, even though the record is very, very good. 5-3 heading into this one. But the Ravens really just demolished them. I mean, this Broncos team, what they have going for themselves is their defense. Their offense has not been stellar by any means, and they are able to win games due to their defense. But when you go against the Ravens offense and Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers and Derrick Henry, they just got boomed on. Absolute domination for the Ravens. Next game, Bears and Cardinals. The Cardinals defense has low-key been stepping up very much recently on this 3-game winning stretch. Held the Chargers to 15. Dolphins still put up 27, so it wasn't great, but they held the Bears to 9 past 2 or 3 games. 15 points and 9 points. Again, the Dolphins, they did well offensively, but again, strictly from those Chargers and Bears teams, Cardinals defense stepping up a bit because they've been really bad more often than not during the season. But these are some huge wins for the Cardinals, especially if they want to make a push for the playoffs. And if you look at their division, 49ers, Seahawks, Rams, very, very, very winnable division. Because let's be honest, the Niners don't look the same this year. The Rams, well, they haven't been good since their Super Bowl run. And the Seahawks, well, they just lost another one. Jaguars and Eagles, you see the final score of this game, 28-23, and you are like, what? How is this game so close? The Eagles were whooping ass. I'll tell you how. Nick Sirianni, 3 different times, decided to go for a 2-point conversion. Now, the first 2 times I thought were stupid. The last time I was like, okay, at least it makes sense because he wanted to make it a 14-point game instead of a 13-point game. So I'm like, okay, I understand the last 2-point conversion, but the only reason why you have to even go for it is because the first 2 times you didn't take your free points. And there was, I believe, 2 different times where he should have taken a field goal and goes for it and just gambles, and this game didn't have to be this close. Eagles, though, on talent alone, win the game. Jalen Hurts, crazy awesome play to Devontae Smith. Amazing catch by him. Moving on to the Rams and the Seahawks. The Rams winning this game in OT. Now, to be honest with you, that was a huge win for the Rams. And that's no surprise because, again, Seahawks were in the division with them. Seahawks dropped to 4-5. Rams go up to 4-4. Rams win 2 in a row, I believe. Is this 2 in a row now? Yeah, they beat the Vikings. No, this is 3 in a row. Beat the Seahawks. Beat the Vikings. Beat the Raiders. This Rams team, if they're 4-4, they were 1-4. Huge stretch. Not a coincidence, though. You get Cooper Kupp back. That's going to help out a lot. Unfortunately for Puka Nacua, he got ejected for throwing a punch in this game. I didn't think it was a punch that warranted an ejection because it really wasn't all that crazy. But nevertheless, he is ejected. Rams, though, take this one in OT. Lions and Packers. This was an ass whooping. Now, I know the score says 24-14. But for pretty much the whole game, Packers offensively could not do much. You know, Josh Jacobs did run the ball really well in the first half. They went away from it in the second half because it was, 24-3 by halftime? Sorry, it was 17-3 at halftime. Lions scored another touchdown in the third quarter. But yeah, they were just down in terms of game script, and they were really forced to pass it. Jordan Love definitely didn't look right. Looked like that groin was hurting him a little bit more than it probably would have in weeks past. Granted, he did hurt it last week, but you guys get my point. He just didn't look right. Lions win a huge win against the Packers. They look like legitimate Super Bowl contenders, going up to 7-1. Then we have Sunday night, and this was kind of a boring game, honestly. A battle of Sam Darnold and Joe Flacco, something you did not think you'd be hearing at the beginning of the season. Anyhow, Sam Darnold, 3 passing touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. Justin Jefferson just proves how good he is every freaking time he steps on the field. 7 catches, 137 yards. Just elite at creating separation. Really rough game for Aaron Jones. 21 carries, 64 yards. Not really productive on the ground. But on the flip side, the Colts bench Anthony Richardson, and they do not get immediate results. Not a great game for Joe Flacco. No passing touchdowns. Below 200 passing yards and an interception. Just not a great game offensively from really both of these sides. Again, I know you see 3 passing touchdowns from Sam Darnold, but 2 costly interceptions, and this game was way closer than it needed to be. The Vikings honestly looked like the better team, but that's due to their defense just shutting down, honestly, the Colts. They just really shut them out.
Patrick, just that run with Kareem Hunt to win the game, just what's running through your head when you see that and these scores, and obviously, him coming back is just alluded to that, but walk us through that play when he scores the game winner.
Yeah, I mean, a great run. I thought the offensive line did a great job all night, really. But they did a great job on that play and getting that push. And then Kareem, once you get the push, he's going to follow it in there and get in the end zone. And I'm happy for him to bounce back and come back here and then have this great start to the middle of the season here. Whenever we get Isaiah back, it's going to be a tough tandem for guys to tackle.